This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, my friend. This is Isabel Melgarejo, your host, and this is A Time to Care the Caregivers podcast. Welcome. How often do you take notes about people's lives? I'm going to somewhere with that. For the most part, we take notes about things that we need to do, but we don't take notes about what other people are going through. And I want to talk about that today. Let's get started. A few weeks ago, I posted on LinkedIn how we usually take notes about the things that we need to do. About when we're on a meeting, we take notes about the things that we need to do. We have to-do lists. We have all of these things that are going on in our lives, and it's all related to the things that we need to do. Sometimes we take notes about a program or a class that we're taking. Other times we take notes we journal, so we take notes about our brains and how we feel. And we often forget to take notes about other people and what they're going through. And I find these so interesting because when talking with people, I was talking with someone about a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me that he will pray for everybody that would ask for prayer, and that he would do the prayer right there at that moment before he forgets. Which, again, we take notes about the things that we need to do or we need to learn, but we're not taking notes about other people. And maybe this is something that is impacting you as a caregiver, because the caregiving journey can feel very isolating. Well, it doesn't feel. It actually is a very lonely journey. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a journey in which you are by yourself and going through all the emotions, all the hurdles by yourself. And I've talked about this throughout the podcast in so many podcasts, and I've mentioned this so many times that we are not creating community, and we need to build that community, a community of friends that uplift us, a community of friends that have other interests and are doing other things, and a community as well of other caregivers that are positive, that are looking to get the best out of this journey and build that community. But the problem is not that we're not creating that community. It's that, one, we as a whole, and I'm generalizing big time. First off, we just talk about everything that we need to do or feel, but we are not prioritizing other people. So when it is our time to be in that list of people that somebody else should be praying for, and when you meet that person, they ask you about that specific situation that you're going through, we just don't remember. And we don't remember because we haven't created the infrastructure or the basis to do so. We completely forget. And especially as we grow older and we have more responsibilities and we have more things in our minds and we're doing all of the things, we don't necessarily remember what others are going through. And that would completely change if we were to take the time and pay attention to other people's lives. Because if we were to do so, we would be forcing others to start paying attention to our own journeys. So I started doing that about 2 months ago. I would take 2 types of notes. The important conversations, things that I needed to do. But if I was talking with someone about the things that they do in life, and this is a good chunk of the conversations that I have, is with people that I haven't met before. So we talk about the work we do and how we relate in business and what we do, but we also talk about personal stuff sometimes. And I can go online and see what they do, what their businesses are, and I will remember for the most part that conversation. There is really not that much that outstands from one engineer to other. The work is the same, but what changes is what they're going through. And when you start paying attention to those details, what they say, when your notes is, for example, on Friday, the 14th, Valentine's Day, I met with this person and she told me that she doesn't celebrate holidays because she works in a farm. Every day is about the same. I made a note about that she doesn't celebrate holidays. And I was making notes about what I could share with her that would provide value to what she's currently doing. And these things might not have an impact, but when you continue the conversation with other people and you ask them about the things that they've lived and how their lives have gone through several situations in life, the connections go way deeper. And I think we should all start doing that. And probably you might be thinking, I'm a caregiver, I am burning out, I really don't give 2 craps about other people's problems. I'm dealing with enough problems of my own. And I agree with you. You have your own life and your own problems, and probably you shouldn't be worrying about other people's problems. But if you were to start asking about other people's lives and what they're going through, asking about their kid that just got married, or about anything else, whatever it is, or a baby, or someone who passed, or a promotion, or someone losing their jobs, whatever it is, when you take those notes and you focus the conversation on what's happening, on what's important to them personally, then you shift the conversation into a deeper one. It's not just about what you're doing. It's not just about how you're perceiving yourself as the doer in a capitalist world where you either produce or consume. You create a third way of seeing life. And that third way of seeing life is your personal life. And asking those questions will pay it, and you will build those relationships in which it's not just about what you're doing or what's happening in the world, but what it is important. And when you shift that conversation into what it is important, then you start creating that community. And you don't have to do this with absolutely everybody you encounter. But the more people that I've been doing this with, the more people that I pay attention and share with them these kinds of questions, and then go back to whatever they told me and listen to what they were saying, the more I connect and the more they learn about me, because they are curious as well. They will ask back, so what about you? What are you going through? How does your life look like right now? And then we start creating these communities in which we share everything about ourselves, and we create that community, that support, that we so desperately need as caregivers. We are creating that community for ourselves, for this moment and for the future. We create that support system that we will need throughout our lives. Isn't that how friendships are formed? You share with them, you pay attention, and you go back to whatever was bothering them or their happy moments, and you ask about what is happening in their lives. Yesterday, I went to an executive meeting from a group that I belong to. One of these ladies is in the process of adopting a kid, and she was about to adopt a kid, and the biological mom decided to keep the kid, which happens, and she was devastated. And nobody had asked her how she was feeling, even though she openly had shared that she couldn't handle an event that was her responsibility because she was grieving. And nobody stopped to ask how was she feeling, if she was okay. And when someone asked, everybody got interested. So let's start becoming that person in the room that cares for others and that creates a community and that builds that community and that support that we all need. Because eventually it's going to be us. It's going to be us there sitting, grieving, worrying about whatever it is in life. And we want to create the biggest support community that we can. Because the biggest, the better. The more people that will be there for us no matter what, because we were there for them, the better. We are social animals and we are supposed to be sharing. That's how we thrive, in community. And we have moved so far away from that community that I just want to invite you today to shift from the to-do list to the, I care for you list. Go get your to-care list and go ahead, do that list. And while you're doing that, rate this podcast, okay? Talk to you next week.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.